So you want to be a YouTuber. Good for you. Here you are, 50 plus, and venturing into the world of YouTubers. Hello, friends, family, and perfect strangers. I am Gloria, and welcome to my channel, The Bounce Back. This is my bounce back. Now, friends, you want to venture into the world of YouTubing. You've watched thousands of videos, I'm sure, on best practices and what you need to do and how you need to prepare yourself to create a channel that is going to have impact, that is going to take off. And now, most of the channels that you come across, they're saying to you, just start. And while that's intended to be motivating, sometimes that can be a little bit of anxiety inducing. See, what ends up happening is that we get so caught up in that wanting to perfect the craft before we start that we can fill ourselves with tons of anxiety over editing and views and niche and creating content and all that goes with being on this platform. Take a breath, my friend. Take a step back. Enjoy the process. It's not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be fun. Here's what I'm going to ask you. What is your why? What's your reasoning for wanting to be a YouTuber? I want to share with you that 5 years ago was the first time that I ever considered starting a channel. Back then, my why wasn't quite clear. I just knew I wanted to be on YouTube because everybody else was on YouTube. And I felt that I had some stuff that I could share, but I wasn't 100% sure on what it was that I wanted to share. Long story short, I put it on the shelf for 5 long years. Late last year, I started with the whole idea once again. I'm watching other 50 plus folks on their channels, and I said, why not? But then I asked myself, why? And as I went through that internal sort of digging deep and trying to figure out what is my why? What is my reason? Because if it's solely monetization, then I have to be very realistic about the outcome and what my expectation is. Here's what I came up with. There were 3 things that sort of stood out for me. One of them is that I want this channel to be somewhere where I can use it as an outlet. I know I have a story to tell. I have life experiences that have been good, that have been not so great, that have been learning opportunities. I have had many wins, but I have also had quite a few not so pleasant experiences. Not to say that they have been losses, let's be real. But I've learned from those things and I have bounced back. And yet, here's the name, The Bounce Back, because I felt that now I was ready to talk about how I came back from some of those failures. So that's my outlet. Number 2, I think that it could be a source of connection. Here is what I have an opportunity to create community, that I can align myself with like-minded people. Now, in honesty, I have become a little bit reclusive. I don't feel extremely comfortable being out in social settings. When I step out where there's gatherings and so forth, I have very little desire to be around these crowds. So I find myself that my comfort has become being online. I do a lot of Zoom stuff. I do a lot of meetings online. I've worked with clients online. It just feels a little comfortable for me, but I want to step outside of that comfort zone. And if that means that I create a community online first and then figure out ways that we can come together, whether it be monthly or quarterly, but create a community where a lot of us can come together. Now, I know that realistically, there may be people that are in other countries that may not be able to come out, but those of us that are local to where I'm at, we may be able to create something where we actually meet up in person. And wouldn't that be nice? If not, there are other avenues such as doing live feeds, which brings us together in a live form. And that way we can have an exchange right there and then and not have to wait until I go through comments and respond to your comments and so forth. We can now have more connection. That's my other hope for this channel. And number three, and the obvious one, is monetization. I would love nothing more than to have this channel get monetized. But I know that YouTube has certain standards and has certain prerequisites before that happens. I believe it's 1,000 followers as well as 3 to 4,000 watched hours, something to that effect. I haven't looked into it 100% just yet. I know a little bit about it from watching other people's videos, but I'm sort of wanting for this channel to grow organically. And so if it grows quickly, thank you so much to all that subscribe, to all of those who like, to all those who comments. It helps the channel grow. But if it goes slowly, I'm also okay with that. The one goal that I have is to be able to connect with people. That's primarily what I want to do here. Now, as I said, those were my three findings as to my why. No matter what your reason is, I want to caution you. Just be realistic. You take the good with the bad. Sometimes these platforms, they're a space where people might exercise a little bit more free speech than regularly. Let's just say it gently like that. You have to take it all with a grain of salt. If there's stuff that don't sit well with you, take it with a grain of salt. Don't engage in that negativity. Just let it be what it is. We don't always know where someone else is, where their heart is, where their mind is, what their experience is, and why they're speaking the way they're speaking. For those that come onto your channel and bring you the greatest level of energy and support, you say thank you to that. That's how I would do it. That's what I want to do with my channel. I held back for 5 years. I put this channel on a shelf for 5 years because I was afraid that it wouldn't thrive. I was afraid that it wasn't going to be watched. But the truth is that my intentions were also in a different place. Once I understood what I wanted out of this channel, and once I understood that authenticity means a lot to me, then that's where my mindset shifted. My hope is that I will limit my edits, that I will show up as me every single time. And yes, my biggest edit is going to be getting rid of that word that I use so often. That little phrase comes out of my mouth more times than I'd care for it to. And I may do some editing around that in future. I did it in my second video because I was blown away at the amount of times that I use that term. But that's kind of the extent of what I want to be editing. I don't know if I want to be adding too much fluff. I fooled around a little bit with some sounds and things like that, and I enjoyed that. And I think, it brings a little fun into these videos. But I don't necessarily have that whole cinematic thing down pat. And if I learn it as I go and I can bring you that great content, obviously wonderful. But it's not something that I strive to. I just want to be authentically me. I want you to see what you get. Now, my friends, I want to thank you for being here with me today. I want to thank you for listening to what I have to say. I hope it will resonate with you. I hope that you will take some of what I've said, that little grain of salt, and that you say to yourself, let me just figure out my why. And hopefully that's going to be what's going to bring authenticity to your channel, what's going to bring that success that you're looking for, what's going to bring you the connection that you hope to have. Just take a breather, take a moment, enjoy the process, and bring authentically you to your channel. Until next time, my friends, please do like, subscribe, comment below. I really appreciate that because that will help my channel grow. Until next time, I am Gloria, and this is my bounce back. Take care, everyone.